very excited to speak today. I'm also very excited to join ProWebo. So I'll speak about my student experience in Denmark, which overall, my student experience during this Corona crisis. And overall, I feel it was a good experience with some positive points and some negative points. So this semester I had my bachelor thesis and two other courses. My bachelor thesis was supposed to be an experimental thesis. So we're supposed to draw optical fibers with quantum dots inside. But because of the Corona situation, we're not able to access the labs anymore. And so the focus of the thesis needed to be switched completely to a theoretical thesis where we would make simulations. And that turned out to be complicated because I was working with another girl and we were not guided at all by our supervisors. It was theory that was way above our level. And so we needed to start learning some really complicated quantum electrodynamics, which we had no idea what it was. And the teachers, they didn't guide us. There were some teachers available to answer our questions, but we were a bit in the darkness and we didn't know really what we wanted to look for. So we started some simulations, but they turned out not really important. And then at the end, we got a good report and with some conclusive results, but it got complicated. And then I also had two other courses, magnetism and condensed matter physics. And these ones, they were actually really good. I really enjoyed the classes, even though they were taught online. I think the teachers did a good job. First, when the Corona came, the first 2 weeks, we didn't have any classes because the teacher said that we should just read the material. And I found it a bit sad. But after that, they started doing the classes. And that was really good. First of all, they asked every time to put the camera, that the students would put their cameras on. So it would be very interactive and everyone could see everyone. And I think that's a very good idea. And they also asked a lot of questions. First, the students were shy and no one really answered, but bit by bit, students became much more interactive. And in the end, it was the most interactive class I had ever had, with many questions coming from everywhere. And that was really, really nice. Moreover, these theories require that normally the teacher draw on blackboards, but here they could just write on Zoom. And that went really fine. They could, not for the first lecture, but for the next lectures, they could make very nice plots and extremely clear. And then, but some of my friends didn't have the same chance as I did. Some of them had courses where the teachers said that they should watch YouTube videos or that they should read the book twice. But some of my friends never had online classes, and I think that's a shame. During the exams, first we had the study cafes for the exams, and we had many of them, 5 of them for one course, and we would just join and we could ask as many questions as we wanted to the teacher. I think that was amazing. And then the exams, I made them from Belgium. I had one online exam, which went super fine. I was first put in the waiting room for Zoom, and then I started speaking. I got lucky that my internet didn't crash, but the teachers were really flexible with the internet and with failures. So if it wouldn't work, then they would call us on our phone numbers. And then I had another exam which was written, and there we needed to scan what we wrote down. And as well, the teachers were really flexible. If we had mistakes, then we could, we had problems with the Wi-Fi, then we could just send them an email explaining why. And in the worst case scenario, we would just take pictures with our phone of the exam if we couldn't scan them and send them on their personal email address. So that was also a good part. Next, I'll speak about some benefits that I found from online courses. First of all, online courses are recorded, were recorded, and that allows us to rewatch every lecture. And that's really good because you can go back to really complicated parts of the lecture that you maybe didn't understand. And that allowed for me, I use that a lot. Second of all, you can do your courses from everywhere around the world. So I think that's also nice. You can go and visit your family. And you can also adapt, you can also watch the lecture whenever you want. So if you are, I'm not a morning person, and when I wake up, I can't focus too well. So lectures at 8 a.m. are not really good for me. But since they are recorded, I can watch these lectures later during the night, and that's better. But the best parts that I found during this online teaching is that every student can study at his or her own pace. For example, normally when I'm in the class and there's a 4 hours lecture, we have 4 hours lectures very often straight. Very often there's a lot of time where I cannot focus, and I will be bored because it's too slow, and then I would start watching in the wall. And on average, I can lose my get distracted really easily. So maybe for a class of 4 hours, I would be focused 2 hours or even 1 hour and a half. But when I watch online lectures, I can just make that the pace goes faster. I make times 1.75. You can even times 2, and then I can have a 4 hours lecture in 2 hours and be 100% focused. And that's much better for me. And so other people, they can make it slower if they don't understand. And so that's for me a really positive part, that I felt the lectures were much more useful for me than if they were in person, because I lose my distractions so easily. That was a really good part about online teaching. Some bad parts is that people need self-discipline. They need to be motivated in order to go to the courses. I managed to go to all of my courses, but I can understand that sometimes it can be difficult. The second negative part is the following. My university, Danish Technical University, has a system that trusts the students. So we sign a code of honor. And so during these exams, they decided not to do any kind of control that we were not cheating. And so they just they just gave us free card. We weren't controlled in any way. And I think that's maybe that's maybe positive, but there were still some students who cheated, and then they might get better grades than other ones that worked more. And so that's also a possible challenge. Other problems were, for my thesis, we needed really strong computers to make very heavy simulations, and we didn't have them where we were, but it wasn't too much of an issue. And then also work in teams, and the exercises were more complicated. We couldn't work together with our neighbors, and that was also a negative point. Socially, for me, it has been going really well during this lockdown, because I live in a student dorm where we share a kitchen of 13 people, and that was really lucky. And in Denmark, the lockdown was much less heavy than in Belgium or the UK. And so we would just be all the 13 confined, and it happened really well. Now I finished my bachelor, and in the future, I will go make my master's at Stanford University. And that's a really stressful situation. We know that we have learned not too long ago that we are gonna go there, and that we're not gonna have classes online, or at least not all the classes online. But it was really stressful not to know, and having problems with the visa, and so. But overall, I think it's okay. And over there, the students will need to social distance. But I think that's gonna be fine as well for me.